Well, hello, it's Susan at Seaside Stitches and welcome to my channel. And this is my Friday sews for the 10th of October. And what have I got to tell you? Right, well, I had intended to have vlogged last week, but it just didn't happen. I've had some medical issues. We don't need to go into what they were, but it wasn't comfortable enough for me to be videoing and catching up with some of the sewing that I had outstanding that I wanted to share with you. So I've had a different kind of week, and that's been great really, because I have spent time thinking and plotting and planning about trying to get some sleeves that I really wanted in the dress that I think I mentioned to you last time that I wanted to have been able to share with you on Friday, but that didn't happen. Anyway, I was about to go to a sewing social, I think, after I spoke to you last at Preston, and it was lovely. It was called the Preston Sew Club, and it's run by Paula, and she is Sew Paula on Instagram. Who knew? But I met two people that I already knew there, so that was lovely. It was lovely to meet new people, but I also had met one at another sewing social, one that was run by Christine, the Gemini Stitcher, at the Northwest Sewing Social, and the other one I knew because she used to work in the Fleetwood Fabrics, or Fabrics at Fleetwood. So that was really nice, getting a chat with Pam, because I know she's not been very well, but she was doing great, and it was really nice to see her. So it was a lovely day. It was at a sports and social club in Preston, and it was just from 10 till 2, and it was lovely. It was really nice to meet other people who sew and have a lovely chat, and there was a guy there also who restores vintage sewing machines, so that was nice too. But it was all just very fluid, a very fluid day. You just got up when you wanted to drink, you got a drink. If you wanted something to eat, there were lovely cakes. I don't partake of cakes because I can't eat eggs, but that's absolutely fine. I also have something with me when I anticipate that there's going to be something. I'm too difficult to cater for. I don't want to be catered for. I'm quite happy catering for myself, and so that was fine. No problem, no pressure, no anything. So you can take a packed lunch, which is what I did, which is what some other people did. Just ate it at our table where we were sewing and chatting and doing and things. So it was really nice. I enjoyed it, and it did me good because it's the first time I've been able to go to a sewing social and actually get myself through the door. So that was fine. That was really good, and it sparked something in me that has realised that I do enjoy the company of other people, but don't want it to be too arduous for me. So where I was travelling to before, it was just that bit of a longer journey, and the trepidation about the traffic and the weather and things like that, it just took so much away of that anxiety that it was nearer and I was familiar with it, etc., etc. That doesn't mean that Satnav was determined to make me go to a place that was before the main road that I had to cross, and I went all around the streets. But a lovely woman that I pulled up by and spoke to, she actually got into the car with me and took me to where it was, which was amazing. Yes, and all safety issues covered and risk assessments completed in both our minds, and that was so lovely of her. And she happened to be going to a park run, which was just across the road. So that was lovely of her to do that and put herself out and just take me to the actual place where it was. And if I'd have just gone over the road and explored that bit myself, then I would have found it. But I was so, addicted to, yes, but this must know. It's telling me it's here. Well, it's not here, is it? Anyway, so I got there, that was fine. And what it did was, and Paula knows Alison from Sew Like Dottie, and I think she knows her through her Sew Virtual groups. And so, and just to say that Alison is coming to the October one, and I don't know if there are any seats available now, but Alison is coming to that, which will be lovely. but I already feel like I've already met her properly, because we did have a fly past walkthrough at Harrogate the year before last, and at the Knitting and Stitch show, and that was lovely. It was just, she was talking to people, we said a quick hello, we had a quick hug, and then we moved on and she carried on talking, and I introduced her to my sister, and then we carried on walking, and that was fine. But this morning I have had the pleasure of the company of several women who were sewing all together virtually, and I attended one of Alison's Sew Virtuals, and going to the in-person one just enabled me to take the plunge and do that. And it was a lovely, just very relaxed, informal chat, mostly about sewing, catching up with other people who are sewing, what are they doing. And Alison really takes the time to check on each of us and give us some space, and enables us to get to know other people and them to get to know us. The only one drawback was I had something come up on my screen for McAfee, whatever, a viral, an antiviral advert that just would not go away, and I couldn't get rid of it. It didn't have a cross on it. It had nothing to cancel it. I didn't want to press too many things. It did it before it started. I managed to slide the start screen over so that I could actually operate the Zoom part, but I could not get rid of it. So I didn't make use of putting everyone in a grid on the screen so that I could see everyone at once. I had to just keep moving them backwards, forwards, because I only had half my screen. But that doesn't matter. And I had Alison, who was spotlighted in the middle, and as other people spoke, she spotlighted us if it was okay to do so, and so that other people saw what we were making, etc., etc. So it was just a lovely little group. And I've also got some ideas of, because if I join something like that now, I can still carry that connection through when I move, because we'll all still be virtual, won't we? It does happen that there is someone semi-local to where I'm going to be, so she had some ideas of where some of the fabric shops might be useful to me, that kind of thing. So that was lovely too. But also I could still continue to be in this group when I no longer live in the area, which is not true for the Preston one. So I have booked for this October one. I'm not sure what will be happening in November, because it's very likely that we will still be here. But we did have 2 Thursdays ago, we had someone who were waiting for an offer on theirs, and if that offer had come over that weekend, which they were expecting, they would then be putting in an offer on ours. Now, they didn't put an offer in on ours, so whether they didn't get their offer on theirs, or whether they didn't, or whether they changed their mind, we don't know. But when you do that, I kind of, when you hear that, and we might be going in like 8 to 10 weeks, you have to just jump ahead. Well, I better not book anything for there, because we may be at the other end of the country. So it's lovely to go to Paula's and to make that introduction to the other people that were there and have that interaction. I really enjoyed that. And then afterwards, we'd been given a 10% discount to Abercarn. We're going to call it Abacus then. Abercarn was sponsoring the Sew Club by offering members a 10% discount. So we went into there afterwards. We didn't have to go as a group, but we just kind of followed each other. And when I was upstairs in there, I met Shirley, who became a good friend from the Northwest Sewing Social, and we had a little chat at the top of the stairs, and that was nice, just having a catch up. And also that I got 10%. I only wanted a pattern, and I was very, very, very focused. I didn't go anywhere near the fabrics at all. I went for a pattern, and I went for 2 patterns to get my 10% off, but they only had one of them. And it even cost me £17 something with the discount. So I'm glad really I wasn't buying both patterns at the same time. And I've actually seen the second pattern in Hobbycraft in its envelope and given some time to study it and decided I wouldn't have wanted it anyway. I couldn't buy that one because it was in the D5, the range that's not my range, the size range that's not my range. So I didn't get it at Hobbycraft either, but I'd already thought, no, I could do better than that for that. But I have bought a nice skirt pattern, which I did just have with me. So this doesn't look very spectacular. I'm just going to say that again because I was parting camera. This doesn't look very spectacular, but let's see what I can do with it. So this is the skirt. It's a relatively simple midi skirt, and it has a little bit of a yoke detail at the top. And it appears to have pockets. I very rarely put pockets in anything apart from cardigans. It looks like there's a pocket. Yeah, there is a pocket option. I don't like pockets in skirt. I don't like pockets in my clothes, in dresses or skirts. Now, there's a possibility that I would put an inseam pocket in this other dress that I have finished apart from the sleeves, and I'll talk to you about that now. So it was a lovely morning. I'm a bit buzzing, as you can probably tell. I'm all a bit so I've already done a vlog just now to put up for the Sew Upcycle challenge, and I've already mentioned to my people on that vlog about upcycling this. So I did put together this dress, this skirt and this top to become the Friday Pattern Company Davenport dress, and I don't like it. I didn't want to go any further with it. I didn't want the casing on, so I didn't put the casing on. I wanted to test it together, top and the bottom, as if I was going to put elastic casing on. I didn't like either. I didn't like it. I knew that if I put elastic in, I would just feel drawn in, baggy, coming into baggy, and I didn't like it. So what I'm doing with it is I am making the top from the Meet You There dress from Pattern Emporium, and I'm going to attach this to the top, so there will be a little bit of gathering on it. And the Meet You There dress is a loose fitting, not a need for gathering top, and you can put waist ties on should you wish to. So I'm not sure whether I'll do that, but do have enough to make the bodice for that and a small sleeve. And this, I just want to be brave. These are finished, they just need elastic through, and I just want to be brave. I want to allow myself to just put a small hem on there and wear this loose and free over the top of a high-waisted black pencil skirt, and I feel like that will be something Susanish. And so that bit's that. Now I also have now finished this. It was waiting for me to sort out the neck. I had lowered the neck but not done the side pieces because I wasn't quite sure how I could do that and what I did. But I made a new bodice front and back because I twirled it with this anyway. I really feel lovely in this. It's very nice. I mean, it's more summery than anything else, but it's beautiful fabric, and I can't help but keep saying, and it only cost me £8 because the lining, it's just a bodice lining, but the lining was from the swaps table at the Northwest Sewing Social. So thank you to whoever donated that. And I do really love this. So I have been doing a bit of hand sewing. I've hand sewn the bodice just down the back with the zip, and I will be doing round the sleeves. That's what I wanted to do with it, but it's finished enough for me to say it's finished and I can show you it. But I wanted to make sure I've got everything in place with the bodice, so that when I cover up the sleeve and armhole seam, I don't do it too tight in the bodice so that it pulls. Hope you understand what I mean. Right, so this lovely lady, excuse me madam, this lovely lady, this is my other 2016 pattern dress, and I altered this. Like I said, I made quite a different, I just added some bust shaping because I felt it was flat across my chest, even though I'd got the right sizing, but it wasn't right. I lowered the neckline all around it and I really do like it. And then I wasn't happy with putting in those huge sleeves. I'll just show you the pattern again. Excuse me, madam. There you go. So I really did not want to use these huge sleeves. Some people look amazing in it. Gina did one, and she got a lovely fit on the bodice, but to be fair, she had lost the front bodice piece. So she kind of made it up as she went along, used part of her self-drafted front that she had already used for something else, and just winged it really and got the right shape for put the gathers on. She put the pockets in, and she reduced the size of the padding, the gather on the sleeve, and it looks really lovely on her. And she was quite an inspiration for following that idea. I think I added 3 inches to the length of this when I made it, because it comes up quite short if you're doing the short version is above my knee. So I added about 3 inches to the bottom of this when I made it, and I've also added the 3 inches plus 1.5 inches on the baby cord one. And then I wanted some sleeves, so because I wasn't using those, and I did have an idea of what I wanted to create, which I have mentioned before, I think on my last Friday sews, that my mum had made me kind of a brush cotton dress that had like a bishop sleeve, went into a long cuff. Now she didn't do it with buttons on, and it was just one of those that you put it on and it just slipped down a bit, but it doesn't matter, it was fine. I was 15. I was just about going out and about, almost 16, because I am an August birthday. So weird as it sounds, I left school at 14. My birthday was in the August, and therefore before the September. So I was in that year for finishing school at 15 before the September started. So although legally I was supposed to finish at 15, it was legal because that's where the term ended before the September started, if you know what I mean. A few years after that, my sister's 5 years younger than me. She stayed until she was 16. Compulsory. That was a compulsory thing. But she left school at 15 because her birthday is also in August. So she was 15 in the year. Anyway, none of that. Just telling you stuff. So I was going out at 15 because I was then at college, and I went to a pub in a dress that my mum made me, and I remember standing there near the window in this dress, and I just felt amazing, and with my friends there, and it was just lovely, and I wanted to recreate that. Now I've just got a photo. I can't show you on there because it's on the thing that's photographing us now. In this I did write left sleeve because I was worried sick that I would make 2 right sleeves or 2 left sleeves. Now I have cobbled together, this is the gathered sleeve top from this, my trusty S8875, of which I have made 4, and of which I have used this sleeve and then shortened it a little bit and put it into a cuff on all my versions. I think all my versions of this dress, because they're all in jersey. I very rarely make a woven dress, even though this pattern calls for woven fabric. I don't take any notice. And so I wanted to find a sleeve that would go into a cuff, and the blouse sleeves I had were either straight at the top, or there was one that was narrow at the top and then added a gather in the middle to the cuff. Anyway, this has been cobbled together from one pattern, the M7838 cuff and the S8875 sleeve. Now the problem I have now is that, and I'm really pleased with it, very, very pleased indeed. I'm ignoring the fact that I'm going to have to do 8 buttonholes. and I have a bit of a phobia because my machine played up so much the last couple of times I've made buttonholes. But I will recreate the layers of the fabric. I will do a test where I do 4 buttonholes before I even get to this point of doing them on the actual sleeve. But what I have done is I purposely left this sleeve a bit long. Now when I decided it would be, when I realised how much I needed taking off, I didn't want to mess about with this, because this is also something that's had to be engineered into this sleeve because there wasn't a placket space. So I've done that from watching THUY sewing. I would call that Thew, but it isn't that. It's I don't know. Anyway, there is a foreign pronunciation for it. I watched her channel so much in her THUY crafts videos, but this one showed how to measure that and put your binding in and attach your sleeve. So that's what I'm talking about there. So this means, and with full knowledge and consent, I completed that, and then I now need to unpick this, and once I have determined how much this needs to come off, I will then put the pattern back on the top of this, and I will reduce it by however much that is. So it may be 2.5 inches, it may be 3 inches, it may be less, it may be more, but I'm not doing anything until I've managed to get the buttonholes on this. So again, I won't be showing it you this time, but I will have it ready hopefully for the 17th of October, because we're going to a Bee Gees tribute night, whatever it's called, something like the Bee Gees show. And that will feel very 70s and very Susanish in my boots and that dress, midi dress, and I love it. So I'm really pleased with that. I feel like I've cracked on remarkably well. I have a little task to do for the sew up cycle that I mentioned last time, and I'm still sticking with that plan. So I think that's as much as I need to tell you. I did have I popped in on Jen at Today in Jen's Sewing Room. Thank you, Jen, for setting up the hashtag Friday Sews, which is this community that puts out vlogs on a Friday, and they're about sewing and about updating you and about a bit of life. And I really appreciate being part of this community, and thank you to everyone who has been subscribing, and especially lately I've had some new subscribers, so thank you very much for that. And yeah, I've been really quite happy. Oh, the other thing I have done is I will pop in a little twirl of me, because it still isn't finished, but I did complete the orage dress that I had attempted to make for another version of putting it in with Sew Phoenix. So it fits beautifully, and it does not sneer, it does not do a funny thing up here with the bodice, and I just love it on me. But what I decided was all I needed to do now was to hem it. Just hem that and hem the sleeves, which were about 4 inches too long. And that lay on my ironing board for several days while I worked out what I was going to do about the sleeves for that one. That became more of a prominent concern than the orage dress, because I then knew I wasn't going to be able to put it into the challenge for the Sew Phoenix, which was absolutely fine. It got me to make it, and that's the most important thing for me. It's nice to be able to support a challenge, but if you get the impetus to do the thing you wanted to do, for me that's much more important, because it's helping me go forward, isn't it? It's not about being able to just be possibly that I might get a prize. It's about that's helped me go forward, and I now have another one in mind. So I'm pleased with that. I'm not worried that I haven't finished it. It's not going to be a long lost whip somewhere. I know what I'm doing. I know how long it's likely to take, but I have to prioritize this other one because this is relevant in this time of the year. That is very much a summery dress, a spring summer dress, or a night an evening out dress, which is not necessarily something that I would be going to anytime soon. Okay, I'm going to wear my slinky orange dress for you. I'm not fully coiffed. Not long out of the shower, I've done a quick of my hair. I haven't hemmed the hem yet. I have managed to leave it to... I've done this little bit of video so many times because the first time you couldn't see the bottom of it. I wanted you to see the bottom of it, but not necessarily my bare legs and my feet, but that doesn't matter. I didn't get it done for So Phoenix deadline. I could have pushed and pushed, but I'm trying to live well with arthritis at the moment. I've had some flare-ups and it hasn't been marvellous, having a bad neck and bad fingers, etc, etc. I didn't want to have to get a sick note and say I can't make it until I'm fully better. So anyway, creak. Yes, I just wanted to say that I am delighted with this dress. If anyone is wanted to make it, go ahead and make it. It's very simple, it's very relatively quick to put together, just needs a bit of thought. I never put the sleeves in on the flat, which is what they recommend. I always like to find out exactly where my side seam is, etc. So I just insert the sleeve. You just have to gather it to ease it. I do anyway. And I take off a 1/2 inch just on the top of the shoulders, off the armhole seam, the shoulder seam. I just take off about 1/2 inch there, and then insert my sleeve, and that's it now. So I made them for gorilla length arms, which mine are, but even then they go past my fingertips. So I'm just leaving it for now. I've turned them up just underneath, just folded them under, and then I will make a decision what length I actually want them to be. And I did get an extra 0.9 meters because there was a remnant left at Little Legs. Yes, well done Little Legs for getting this fabric. It's fabulous. I've not seen it anywhere else, but I don't want any more. But they did have a remnant when I thought it might not be long enough for me. So I did manage to pick that up. We went yesterday, I don't know. Anyway, we went in to get it, but when I finished it, it doesn't look like I'm going to need it. So that's fine. I've got another use for it. And that's, yeah. So I was going to put a frill on the bottom. That's all I was saying. But I really don't want to have it pulled down from the waist because it is very, very stretchy, this fabric. And if I'm going to do something with a frill on the bottom, I prefer to have a bit more of a structured fabric before I do that. Anyway, too much information. Thank you to Sam, thank you to Rachel, thank you to Catherine, Sew Over to Makery, Rachel at the French Seams, Sam at Sew Like Sparkle with Sam for putting this So Phoenix September 25 together, because it really helped me focus on what I needed to do. And this is what I needed to do. Finally get myself an orange dress after 2 failed attempts at the dress because I got 2 nice tops out of it, but I had chosen the wrong fabric for the amount of to get this to sit right. So I had to sew it down on my little on my what do you call that, on my toile version. I had to sew it down because it gaped, and on my other one it kind of sneered and did funny things when you moved your arms, and so far that doesn't do this. So it needed the absolute it needed the absolute, I think 6% stretch. I said 6 inches on one video, I've no idea, but anyway, it needs a lot of stretch. And this is cotton, no, this is viscose jersey with lycra added. So speak to you later, bye for now. So I think that's enough from me. I hope you're all doing well. So I was saying I popped in on Jen at Today in Jen's Sewing Room, and she was sharing some amazing vintage patterns, some from the 80s, some from the 70s, some from the 90s, and that she'd done so well thrifting, getting thrifted patterns that were uncut, and her plans for those, she was sharing those. So she was actually using yardage as well, because quite often she will use a sheet and things like that. So it was lovely to watch her video. And if you've not seen it yet and you want to go and have a look at it, she is today in Jen's sewing room. So that's great. And we're just all supporting each other. Okay, thank you ever so much for watching, and I'm hoping that there will be space on the Sew Virtual for next Wednesday, because I'm going to be joining again. Okay, bye for now. See you in a bit.